It's Filter Free Friday, y'all. I'm so glad you're here. I don't want to do this one today, and that's the truth of the matter. But what also is the truth of the matter is that in 2013-14, every month I would drive my car to Omaha, Nebraska for work. And every month on the way up and on the way back, I would think about what if my car just veered off into the ravine. I wanted to die. And nobody knew. I was so strong. Every day I showed up and people asked me how I was, and I didn't say fine. I said fantastic. Because fantastic takes people off guard. They're not even used to hearing it. They're used to hearing the words fine. And why do I tell you that story? I tell you that story on my birthday nonetheless because, that's what Filter Free Fridays are supposed to be about. I wake up and it is the thing that is that God gave me. I believe God gave it to me to say to y'all for some reason. In 2012, some of you know my mother was killed by a drunk driver. And my mother, for all she couldn't give me, what she did give me was my spiritual connection. She gave me a physical, an emotional, a mental connection to God. And when she died, while I intellectually knew that my connection hadn't been lost, I spiritually felt like my connection had been lost. And I knew I couldn't talk to the typical people, my Christian folk, because all they were going to do was to give me the theology. I knew it. I was the one who said it to other people. Trust God. God doesn't make any mistakes. God can never leave you. All those things you're supposed to say to people. But here's what ended up happening. I was exercising. I was eating fairly right. Those of y'all who know me know I don't eat right. I was getting sun. I had gotten married. My son, I don't know if the kid can be any more amazing in my opinion. I'm biased. I had the job of my dreams. And I just felt disconnected. And I was walking around the world, and that grief that was consuming me, nobody noticed. But one day my body said, you're going to do something about this. And so I ignored everything that I'd always been brought up to believe, which was we don't have the privilege of therapy. And that I think this week is what caused me to break down in sadness and cry yesterday. Is that sometimes we are burdened with what does it look like to not be free, is that I don't have the privilege of therapy. And my friend Nyla told me yesterday that Black trans children don't have the privilege of being trans. So in some ways there's no such thing. When I was calling out to her that I didn't know anybody, I don't think I did. And then the privilege of eating chicken if I like it, or eating watermelon if I like it, or even the privilege to be depressed. And depressed is what I was, and my body said, I'm gonna show you today. And so, I got a therapist. I've always listen, baby, I done always had a therapist because I needed somebody to help me with something different, controlling this mouth. But my therapist helped me to see that, Nicole, based on everything that you have going on, the murder trial, the loss of your mother, finishing your master's and starting your doctorate and having a new job, and all of those things, you are overwhelmed and stressed, and depression is okay, and we got to fix it. Now, I know this little episode is a little long. I had taken some notes to make it go shorter. That ain't filter free, right? So if you're still here, I appreciate you. If you got a roll, I got it. But here's what I want you to know, that part of the reason why I don't particularly love doing the work that the world keeps asking of me to talk about difference, to talk about power, to talk about privilege, to talk about post-traumatic stress syndrome and internalized racial oppression, is because it makes people sad. And we don't always have the privilege of even being sad. And all I want to do out here in this world, y'all, is make people laugh, tell a few jokes, help people with a little bit of better leadership and some coaching. That's it. And what I came to realize yesterday is that as I found God, and those are the words I want to use, as I found God on the shores of the beach in California, some of the most beautiful views with people experiencing homelessness, what I realized is that sometimes the things that people think we should be depressed about, being poor, experiencing homelessness, having dark skin, my hair doesn't grow long, I don't have this, I don't have that. Everybody loses somebody who's important to him or her or to them. And it's not always easy to know who that person will be. You see, I was my mama's favorite child. You can probably imagine that. I was a very difficult child. I mean, academically, I did everything I was supposed to do. I was just argumentative, difficult. I didn't have to go to therapy at all about the fact that I wasn't my mother's favorite child. So it was actually a little taken aback that what was showing up as grief for me, not that I didn't think I'd be sad, I didn't think it would spiral me in the way that it did. And so why am I saying all of that to you? I want you to see people. That's one. Look them in the eyes and pay attention. The thing about most of us, the thing that gives us humanity, is that ability to see ourselves connected to other people. We are a community. And while we are striving for equity, what I don't want us to ever become equal in is that individualistic nature that says every man for himself. It's not good for us. The other reason I want to bring this up is because sadness is a very natural emotion, and it is okay to sometimes be sad and to get up and do the work again. And when I was out in California with Byron Katie, no less, for 9 full days without makeup, what I learned was watch the children. When children are sad, they cry. And when they're happy, they laugh. And they don't wallow, and they allow it all to feel. They have the freedom to feel it. And I don't know when we lose that. And what I don't want to do is conflate just general sadness with depression. I'm not even qualified to talk about these topics from an experience standpoint. But on this here, my birthday, this was the topic that was on my mind. And so I don't feel like you need to call me. I am not in a state of depression, and that is not a mask for anything, because I still got my therapist, and I ain't on no meds right now, and I'm good. I really am. I'm sharing this so that you will know that when you get ready to send that nasty email, maybe the sister on the other end might be thinking about driving her car into the ravine, and you might be the one who can keep that from happening today. You know, I lost my temper on Saturday in ways that I normally don't lose my temper. And I think the reason I lost my temper and got so angry was because Miss Dee Dee is a street worker, and she goes to my friend Brandy's food pantry Monday through Friday to get something to eat. She's just trying to live her life. And there was a woman who professed that she was a Christian across the street, yelling profanities at Miss Dee Dee. And I felt like I needed to be Dee Dee's warrior in that moment. Now, Dee Dee was there taking up for herself. She was taking up for herself. And it reminded me that the full gamut of human emotion, to be able to feel it all, that's privilege. That's privilege. And this week, the week coming, I want y'all to use your privilege for good. If you're an adult, be kind to children. If you have your citizenship, watch your mouth when you're talking about undocumented workers. If you lesbian and gay, be real careful when you're talking about transgender men and women, or people who are non-gender conforming, who are transgender. If you free, you ain't never been to jail one day in your life, I want you to watch your mouth when you talk about who breaks the law and why they end up in jail and those kinds of things. Because you, when you are in power, need to demonstrate what it looks like to be an ally. And every one of us at any given point has the opportunity to be an ally for somebody. So Dr. Tanya Merrigan, this one is for you. I hear y'all. I've been fighting it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about difference. I want to talk about holding hands and singing Kumbaya. Because just the experience of feeling sadness sometimes makes me project it to mean that I'm going to spiral into depression again, like I was for those 2 years. And I'm afraid. Fear is the right answer. Afraid of that. But it's the work God called me to do. And on this here, my birthday, 2019, Dr. Tanya Merrigan, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Now, y'all might notice I didn't have on glasses today, and I do have on earrings. I just fell asleep in these earrings, and these were the only glasses that were on my desk, and I thought that would be weird. So, it's Filter-Free Friday, y'all. I went 12 minutes. It's long, but we got work to do.